And so I want to try and touch upon things that haven't gone where you wanted them to go, because you've had so much success, right? You're an inspiration to young people like myself. Like, you're 18, bro. You're 18, and there's so many things that have gone your way, but what are some things that have kind of not gone your way, if you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Oh, bro, trust me, there's more that haven't than have. It doesn't get shown, but that's how it is, man. There's been, I mean, when I first came up, I spent my first $300, invested my first $300 in 50 shirts. And one of the first affirmations that I wrote is, I will sell all 50 shirts. Um, but no one wanted to buy the shirts because Reeno wasn't really anything
Yeah.
at that point, and maybe it wasn't the smartest business decision. But yeah, that's one thing that didn't go right. No one wanted to buy them. I ended up having to, really push them at school, and even then, like, I had to sell some of the last like 5 shirts for $5 each just to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And then after that, I had done the Billie Eilish thing, and I dropped again, and like I did a 6-piece collection one time, 6 different t-shirt designs, and it sold 32 units. And like I was expecting way more, and that was like a
Yeah.
big hit. But with all of those things, that there's lessons, and one of the things that I learned from that one is that business is not personal. It's not that they didn't sell well because the designs were awful. It might have been a lot of different things. It might have been there wasn't a lot of people online. It might have been that I didn't market it the best. But it's not personal. It doesn't reflect on my character. But yeah, there's let me think if there was really any else. I mean, most of the celebrities that I reach out to, nothing even happens with that. So I don't know if you would call that necessarily a failure, but people
You gotta
just
try it.
see.
You gotta try it, You gotta.
I try more than anybody has tried. I mean, I don't know if that's really true, but I at least try as much as humanly possible, for sure. And more often than not, it doesn't work, but I keep trying and I stay trying. And there's been failures in other aspects of my life, man, not clothing related, and there's been a lot of that too. Uh, but man, the thing I would say about that is really the pain is the best fuel, bro. The pain, without the pain, there's really no drive. Pain is the best. Welcome that. Fail as much as possible. There's that one quote that's like, fail often, fail early. Yo, let me give this advice. If you're a starting out business, all right, first thing I'll say to you is study the history of whatever industry that you're moving into. But also, be the most experimental you can be and look at what everyone else is doing and then try to do the exact opposite of that. Be experimental as fuck, because now is the best time to fail because you have such low stakes. Right now, I'm so careful about what I put out, not because I'm afraid of failing, but because people have a certain expectancy of me. And it's not necessarily that I care about upholding that, but it's that I want to uphold that for myself. And so it has to be amazing if it sees the light of day. But when you're a starting businessman, just try different stuff. When I first started out, I like released like a story on Instagram that I did that was like a 6-slide long written story. And I'm sure you can imagine that didn't really go over well with the algorithm because that's probably not what they prefer. But hey, I was just trying different shit, man. See what
Yeah.
works. But yeah, bro, without listing too many examples, there's been a lot of failures, more failures than not, man.
Yeah.
And I'll also say not just far in the past. There's been recent ones too. You know what I mean? And it's gonna keep happening, bro, because
Yeah.
I keep trying to change things. And when you keep trying to change things, certain things is not gonna work. I welcome mistakes. I love mistakes.
I mean, you'll probably be familiar with that feeling where you look back at what you did yesterday or a week ago, something that you sent. Like, do you remember? I don't know if you remember. I sent you some thumbnails that I did. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They were so bad. I am actually sorry for sending them. That first one, yeah, with like the blue background and like the emojis. I look back at that today and I'm thinking to myself, what was I thinking? But I tried. I tried it,
Yeah.
and I've learned and I know now that that's not what people want. So, um, going back to your point on having like a standard, do you think that limits you, or do you think that helps you? Because you say that only certain things see the light of day. Do you think that limits how much you're willing to put out, or do you think that acts as a filter for what you put out?
It's good because it doesn't necessarily limit what I create, because I'll just create whatever I feel like creating.
Yeah.
But there's a certain standard to where other people are going to see it, because I'm thinking of everything 50 years from now. Okay, am I going to put this out and be proud of it still 50 years from now? No.
Yeah.
Then there's no point in showing it. All right, we'll count this off as a study. All right. So it doesn't limit me at all. It's just like you said, it's a filter, because I still will create the same amount. It's just as far as what people see. And I see, and that did not used to be the case. I used to make it and be so kind of validation seeking, or just too excited and emotional, to where I would just post it right away. Boom, this is so fire. Like, I made it 1 second ago and I'm like, this is so fire, post it. And I look back at that now and I'm like, yo, maybe you should have sat with that for a couple days.
Yeah.
So now I do that all the time, if not days, weeks, especially if it's something that I want to last, like a collection or a product that I put out.
With your collections, like, how many designs go into the bin for each design that you publish?
Probably maybe 6 times more.
Bruh.
Like, get however many pieces there is and then multiply that by 6, and that's how many total designs were made, and then the rest were trashed or archived.
Because we don't see that. We just see the polished Reeno products and we're like, yo, that's sick. But what we don't see is the 6 that you've been throwing away. Because
trust me, there's a lot of 3 a.m. trash designs that come out of my Photoshop folder that I look at the next day and I was like, yo, maybe I should have just gone to bed at that point.
How long did it take for you to get that eye to where you can see whether something is good or not?
It's a good question. I've been operating this way for at least like 6 months now. So probably like within like the first 2 years of starting my business, I didn't have that. But I don't know if it's necessarily something that takes everyone a lot of time. I just think that someone should have told me, hey, maybe sit with your stuff before you post it. Or,
maybe don't release that one, bro.
yeah, or just like, it really boils down to exposure to the history, which is something that I always tell people to do, is take some time off, study the history, and develop your vision. And now that I've actually done that, I see these masters in the industry that I'm in, masters of their work. And it's kind of naturally done it for me, because everything that I do, I can't get that amazing piece that they made out of my head. And I'm like, this is literally nothing compared to that. And that's okay. Sometimes it could be nothing compared to that and still be an amazing product, but oftentimes it isn't. And so that's like this kind of loop or red pill that you have to take, like looking at all the history and stuff, so that you can realize like, okay, this is the truth. Even if it is painful, you're going to look at it, see the masters of it, look back at your stuff and realize this is trash. And that's the most, beautiful enlightenment you could reach. For me, it probably took 2 years, but if someone would just watch, a video that I made on that, it could take them 20 minutes. And then obviously a couple months of looking into it, and then they'll really have it.